Well, guys, we are back for another episode of the Liberal Asshole Show, episode 64, and today's topics are, because there's a bunch of them.
Tim getting hacked in fucks Steam. Russian state TV threatens Kazakhstan. Herschel Walker wants to take away rights. Abby Shapiro molds over liberal women. Gay club shooting and conservatives loving it. Minecraft Reddit meltdown. Biden screwing over rail workers. And communism 2OP and Vicky 3.
Alright, so of course, we're going to get to the topic that happened 2 weeks ago, and I finally got around to talking because I was so busy during that week. As I'm sure a lot of you that have been following me over the years saw, I got hacked recently. On Twitter, on Steam, on Gmail, and YouTube. And it was not a pleasant experience. So, what happened? It started exactly 2 weeks ago, Monday the 21st. Earlier in the day, that was like at evening before the 49ers Cardinals Monday night game, I went on Twitter for something, and I noticed this in my, history. All these comments, these tweets I posted, as you can see right here, that I just posted earlier. And I have literally no idea how or why I posted them. Because I've seen those comments like the last few weeks beforehand throughout November of people posting stuff like this. And I was doing it. And I have no idea, as you can see. If you see the picture of the tweets I did, that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I then found out, okay, I think I got hacked on Twitter, so I quickly changed my passwords and all the security stuff on Twitter and deleted them. So I thought everything was all good, but no. It turns out, later on, it was back in the morning when this happened, because I found about this Twitter that Monday night. This also happened Monday morning when I was asleep. Somehow, someone hacked my Steam and used my Steam wallet money to buy a gun from them on Cisco. And it was over $56. And I had almost 60 on my Steam wallet, so almost all my money was stolen. As you can see right there, the purchase, which happened Monday, 21st at 7:30 in the morning when I was asleep. So whoever did this bought it on the West Coast and all that. So yeah, all that money stolen from me. And of course, when I told Steam about this, you know what they said?
Yep.
Hi there. Thank you for reaching out to Steam support. All community sales transactions are final and cannot be reversed or refunded. When an item is purchased from the community market, the cost is sent to the buyer's Steam wallet to the sellers. Reversing these purchases would mean we have to take funds out of the seller's wallet, creating confusion and possible purchasing issues across Steam. Oh my God. So, we're going to get to that in a little bit. So then, after dealing with all that bullshit, like, I think it was the next day, all of a sudden, when I went on my YouTube account, someone hacked my Gmail, changed all my passwords, security info, and all that around, took over my YouTube channel, renamed it, changed the thing on, and turned it into a scam site. It's a scam YouTube account, where he did some scam thing with Elon Musk, where if you did those barcode things on your screen, I'm sure it'll give you a virus on your phone or whatever, for 3 hours before it finally turned off, and then my account got deleted for the next 2 days before I finally got it back, and all my videos unprivated and all that, and I still haven't even fully fixed it yet because I still haven't got my description fixed yet. So yeah, that was a lot of issues, and a few days ago I got demonetized lately. I'm trying to get that fixed, which is really annoying. So yeah, what do you guys say about all this? And just so you all know,
Hold on
a minute.
Huh?
Before you say anything, I wanted to make it abundantly clear. I have no idea how this happened, like with Steam. I did not give out my passwords and stuff to anyone. I did not do any third-party thing that could maybe be hijacked some other way. I had Steam Guard, two-way verification, phone number verification, all that crap. I had all that, and that did not help me. So, I don't want to hear no crap about, you brought this on yourself, it's your fault. I did nothing, so I don't want to hear about it. Sometimes, maybe, just maybe, their security stuff can be just cracked. It's happened before, you know. Just like with anti-piracy measures always get cracked in video games like that. So, I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
Alright, so now what were you about to say?
Jeez. Rough time. Absolute very rough time.
And of
Glad
course...
things are fixed, but still, but yeah, loss of $50, that's never good.
Yeah, and now I'm going to take my ire on Steam. First off, fuck your stupid all sales are final. That is stupid. I can prove to you that my account and that sale was a fraud sale. I was hacked. That was not of my choice. If I can prove that, it should be a simple, okay, we'll fix it. Because guess what? If they instead bought a video game instead of doing the community market crap, they would have been able to refund it just like that. But no, the community market is so sacred, you can't do all sales at final. Fuck you, Steam. Fuck you. Just fuck off. Give me my fucking money back. That was stolen from me. And I'm going to make this abundantly clear to everyone. Since Steam refuses to give my money back, as far as I'm concerned, Steam is condoning theft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in fact, they are not only are they condoning it, they are partake. Well, I mean, it's they kind of partake in theft, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, they got some of my money too, as you can see with this transaction. So yeah, Steam, as far as I'm concerned, you're thieves too. If you don't like that mention, then give me my money back now, and remove your stupid all sales are final. That's a stupid policy to begin with. As my Yumi said on my server the other day, stores have it because they're afraid of getting like abused, like return policy and all that. Fuck off! I don't give a crap. How about that? You don't fuck us over who were fucking robbed because of abuse concerns. Like, this is the same stupid argument video game developers and such do with DRM, which doesn't work. It doesn't stop piracy. If anything, it encourages piracy because it's so stupid. It fucks over people who legally buy the games. And of course, you'll have the Spore incident. Remember back in 2008 when Spore came out, they did DRM that actually fucked over people's computers so badly that courts forced EA to remove it because it was that broken.
Oh, gnarly.
And causes viruses. Same thing for I think it was Sony did in 2005 with one of their DRM in their CDs. When you played on a computer, it would cause a rootkit that can hack the computer easily.
Yikes.
DRM stuff just does not work. They need to be banned, and these all sales or final policies need to be removed too. And I'm fucking sick and tired of the idiots on Steam. The players on Steam, when I looked up people complaining about this too, because it happened to them, I found someone got $2,000 stolen from them too.
Ouch.
And you know what they were like? It's your fault you got hacked. How about go fuck yourself? Maybe, just maybe, shit happens. And they shouldn't be fucked over because shit happens. You fucking assholes. So, yeah, fuck you, Steam. And also, honestly, kind of fuck YouTube and Google as well. Because when I couldn't, access my email and all that because it was hacked. Like, because remember, I had my YouTube channel deleted 2 times, remember, in 2020 within a month span. Now, when that happened, I had phone numbers I can call them with. I had emails I can easily get in contact with. I had live chats so I can easily contact with them. Literally, none of them showed up. Weren't working. Every time I called them, it would take me right to their email recovery thing, which of course the problem is when I did the email recovery, guess what would happen?
What?
It would send the recovery stuff to my email, which I couldn't access because it was hacked, so therefore I couldn't use it. And it wouldn't let me use a backup thing until I went on YouTube Help, I think it was, on Twitter, and they made a form that I was able to do that forced it to change to a different email so I could do all that recovery crap.
Oh, God.
So yeah, what do you got to say about this?
That is rough. Seriously rough.
So yeah, fuck you, Steam, and honestly, for that, I feel like pirating $56 worth of games too because of that. Because you forced me to do it because of your stupid policy. And I don't feel any sympathy for you. So fuck you in that regard. So fucking stupid. All of it can be
Now,
resolved
second
if
topic is Russian state TV threatening Kazakhstan.
While still talking, all that can be resolved.
Oh,
Just give me my fucking money back. I was robbed, and you can easily just give it back. And don't give me this crap about it. It causes confusion. Fuck the confusion. I was robbed. I know who did it, and I don't want to hear an excuse about it. Give me my fucking money back.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking assholes. So yeah,
Yep.
definitely hardcore piracy mode after that, and they brought on themselves, and I don't feel bad at all doing it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now on to the next topic.
Russian state TV threatening Kazakhstan.
And of course, this
As
was
if Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia aren't enough.
Yep. So of course, as always, Russian state TV, as they've always been doing with Ukraine for the last few years. We've covered it too before. Remember, they have like a violent genocidal like lust to do like genocide to the British. Remember?
Yep.
Like they're obsessed.
Also, remember that the Geneva Convention's is a checklist for them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just find it so weird how they're so obsessed with wanting to kill the British for some reason. Why not America, since we're an actual threat compared to the British? I just find that so weird why they're so obsessed over them. But yeah. Of course, another thing on their mind is not just Georgia or Moldova or Ukraine. There's also another country that's on Russia's list, and that's Kazakhstan. One of the biggest countries in the world in terms of landmass and borders them too, because the exact same arguments that Russia used against Ukraine also applies to Kazakhstan too. So let's watch this video on Twitter. Hopefully it plays. And of course, oh god. Alright, let me go to Twitter now and see if it works. Pause. I'll just have it muted and just play it right here. So this is what the people said. Let's still pay attention to the fact that the next problem is Kazakhstan. Come on, go forward. Because the same Nazi process can start there as in Ukraine. And we have the longest border there. And there's a lot of Russians there. Keep going. And the nuclear fuel of all the Rostodom, which I think is the rocket station in Kazakhstan that Russia uses to launch satellites and stuff into space. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, Russian state TV is using the exact same arguments that they use against Ukraine on Kazakhstan to invade them. They're Nazis. There's Russians there, because that was the same argument Russia used against Ukraine to take over.
The CIA controls the country.
Well,
there's probably people like Jacob Hickey believe, since, you know, according to them, the CIA is an omnipotent, omniscient entity, and that literally everything that happens in the world is because of the CIA.
Well, of course, also America does have bases in Kazakhstan too, so there's that.
There's probably other things they'll probably something else they'll reference too.
And up to like a quarter of Kazakhstan's population is Russian, and they're going to use the Russian genocide and oppression in all these countries. The exact same argument that Nazi Germany used against Eastern Europe and all them, because there's Germans there and all that, when in reality it was an excuse to get Lebensraum in Eastern Europe. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I also found out about this recently looking up the Russian-Kazakhstan relationship. Did you know that just like with Ukraine last year, did you know Putin doesn't believe Kazakhstan is a sovereign state back in 2013?
Yep, I know that. Yep.
And
basically, any country east of about Germany is not a real country according to Putin.
And it caused a massive backlash too in Kazakhstan when he said that 10 years ago. And after the Russo-Ukraine war flared up again, even though Russia did save Kazakhstan, remember with the riots when we covered them back in January?
Yep.
Now Kazakhstan's kind of like trying to back away from Russia. Like, let's see, they condemned the invasion, which is definitely not something Putin likes. They refused to recognize the succession of the Luhansk and Donetsk areas before the war started. Remember that? They are given, I think, humanitarian aid to Ukraine, which I'm sure Russia's not too happy about that. They've openly said, just like with China too, that they want peace to happen, which I'm sure Putin's not happy about that. And I think they're trying to maybe consider now doing like business deals with the EU, like a natural gas pipeline, but through the Caspian Sea down there too, which Russia does not like, and also that was a big reason why they invaded Ukraine as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what do you guys say about this?
Oh, good work.
Now,
good moves, Kazakhstan. So watch out.
But yeah, of course, now the next question is, would Russia even try to do anything to Kazakhstan? Because they're much they're much smaller population than Ukraine. Despite Kazakhstan's size, they're like the top 10 biggest country in terms of land area. They're only 18 million people. They're like the least densely populated country in the world. They're like half the size of... They're like about the same size as you guys down there, but half the population, remember? So they don't have the population, but they're much bigger, so the Russia would have to spread out more. And of course, multiple front wars are not going to go too well. But another problem is, since Kazakhstan is completely isolated inland, unlike Ukraine, which had NATO border in it, I don't really know how we would easily get supplies to them if they were attacked. Because Russia's not going to support it. China's bordered with them, but they're not going to let us send military aid for them to
Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan's... Sorry, you finish. I want to do it.
And the rest of something later. And the rest of the stands, we had to go for like Iran or Pakistan and all them, and I don't think they would be willing to do that as well.
Nope, I would not.
But yeah, we once again have to make it abundantly clear: Putin, do not try anything to Kazakhstan. You understand, or you will face consequences.
Yep.
It would be suicidal to mess with them, so don't fuck with them. And if they don't want to be a part of you, you know what you do? You deal with it. How about that?
Okay, so Kazakhstan, 2.75 million square kilometers. Australia's 7.6 million square kilometers. So it's about a third with about 5 million less people. But it all sounds like it's a similar thing with Kazakhstan to Australia, where most of Kazakhstan's population is in a particular area.
Yeah, because mostly a desert like you guys.
It's like over 80% of the population's within 100k of the coast.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's just all stupid propaganda, as they've been saying. Because Russian state TV has also said like Russia's already at war with NATO and all that for months now, when it just isn't.
Yes, I know.
So, hopefully, it's just bluster as always, but do not threaten Kazakhstan. You'll pay a very deep price, and it'll look really bad for you, so don't do it. I like when this Biden quote, remember, nuclear weapons. Don't. Just don't do it.
You literally try even one. Russia will be glowing with radioactivity for the next 20,000 years.
And they would have no one else to blame but themselves if that's what happens. Alright, so now, on to the next topic.
That would be Herschel Walker wanting to take away rights.
I had no way to fully describe this in a way that would fit, like, on the YouTube description page, so I went with that. So recently, of course, tomorrow is the runoff election between Walker and Warnock. Yes. So, and I think the polls
Come on, Warnock!
Because I think Warnock might actually have a good chance to get 50% for now, which he needs. And, of course, if he does that, then Democrats will have 51 Senate lead, so that's less worry about Manchin or Sinema, which is good.
Well, remember, Sinema's left now, so it's just Manchin.
I actually looked it up earlier. I'm going to look at it again. Because I could swear I saw something if only I knew how to spell it. Here we go, Kristen Sinema. Oh, she got in office in 2018, so she wouldn't be gone till 2025, unfortunately.
Right, okay, so we still got 2 years of dealing with those two, and with both of them. At least they'll need both. The Republicans will now need both of them to team up to defeat anything from Biden.
Yep. Well, that's if Warnock, of course, wins. And, of course, we have to wait till January 3rd when Ossoff takes over. So, yeah. Walker, just recently, a few days ago, said, once again, another dumb thing, as we've covered over the last few months, he cannot stop saying stupid things. And Kyle did a video on this, but I thought it was too long. I decided to watch this instead. So,
how do you
stop, rewind, get it bigger. So he was on a panel with some idiot conservatives, and let's just say he just stuck a big ass cleat right into his mouth.
Herschel, how do you feel about people that want to change America from when you and I were kids? I mean, there's, we have, I guess it's 80 to 90 or 70 to 80 million people in America that were born after 1990. So these are kids who grew up, when they were 10 years of age with the real beginning of the computers and the internet at home. So they don't know the world that we know pre-internet. They don't know that the bullying was not really, we may have been bullied when we were kids, in a class or teased and things like that, but not the type of culture that these kids have with the internet today. What do you say to those kids and those young people that are voting?
Well, first of all, they don't know that the grass is not green on the other side, that they think they're somewhere better.
I can't hear anything.
Well, the first thing he said, let me see, is that, yeah, it's at full volume. But anyways, the first thing he said when she brought it up, basically his first argument was, well, if you don't like America, then leave somewhere else. Of course, that good old argument. How about this, Walker? Biden's president. And if you don't like it, and you don't like how as liberals are in power right now, how about you leave America? How about that one?
Exactly.
See how silly it sounds? Because here's the reality, conservatives. Why the hell do we have to leave to get what we want? Why can't we get what we want, like in Scandinavia, over here? Just like you're trying to get your religious fundamentalist crap garbage over here. You fight for it. Why can't we fight for it? How about that one? So that's the first stupid argument, but that's not even the worst thing.
Place are better than the United States of America. My thing is, why don't you go there or tell me, let me know who that is, because I can tell them right now that's not. I think our biggest problem is we've not shown our kids that most of the people today hadn't earned the right to change America. And what I mean by that, there's people that have died or not given their life up. There are people that have given their life up to this flag. They've given their life up for this national anthem. They've given their life up for our freedom and these liberties that we have in this country today, and we're taking it for granted. Well, I don't want that to happen. And I'm saying, and I'm not being tough, I'm saying, if you know a place better, you go there, but you lose your citizenship here in the United States of America. And then when you come back, you got to come back legally, like we should be defending the border.
So basically what he's saying is every American that's born after 1990 should not have the right to vote. And guys, that is me, and very likely the vast majority of people of you watching, because I'm sure most of my people watching this are probably born after 1990. So yeah, guys, all of you that are born after 1990, sorry, if Walker gets his way, you're not allowed to, you didn't earn your right to vote, therefore you should not be allowed to have it. Great political campaign off idea, right? Make it easier for Warnock to win. Because, guys, here's the thing. As we saw, especially after when Trump lost in 2020, the right will not ever concede the fact that they lost legitimately, and they also can't accept the reason why they lost is because their ideas are horrendous and the majority of Americans don't agree with it. See, when you lost, and the polls show the reason why you lost is because we don't agree with you, a smart, rational person would go, two things. They would either, okay, I'm going to try and convince these people they're wrong and my ideas are good, or, okay, I'll start changing my beliefs and match what people want and then they'll vote for me. But no, he's not going to change his mind on things that they're wrong on, and they could try to convince us that they're right and we're wrong, but they're not going to be successful, especially when you do stuff like this. So you know what they do? All right, let's rig the system in our favor. Like with gerrymandering, ID voting, and this stuff right here, saying you're going to take away rights if you were born after 1990. And also the stupid stuff of, if you don't like America, then leave. So yeah, keep saying stupid stuff like that, Walker. It's going to make it more likely that you're going to lose. Because all those people born after 1990 are going to make sure you hopefully lose. And by the way, the polls show right now, it's likely Warnock would win the runoff by 50% to maintain his Senate. So yeah, what do you guys say about Walker being an idiot again?
No surprise. Oh, he's a Republican, so what would you expect?
Yep, he's up there as like one of the stupidest people. He cannot stop saying dumb things lately. It's crazy. Oh my god. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Sarah Palin level stupidity. Or Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, and all them. Alright, so I think we've milked that one to death. Oh, we're going to be bringing that milk up comment later on. So now, on to the next topic.
Alright, next up is Abby Shapiro molding over the existence of liberal women.
Okay, now this is funny. I actually wanted to play the original video because it's shorter than Mike's video. Plus, I wanted to give our thoughts on instead of just hearing Mike. So, for all of you who don't know, I think we've covered her before, but this YouTuber by the name of Abby Shapiro, she's the sister of Benny Boy, who we regularly cover on the show. And of course, unlike her, even though he's an idiot, he's more charismatic than her. Therefore, she's a big YouTuber with like almost 200,000 subs, but her YouTube channel is fake, and the only reason she has that many subs is because her brother AstroTurfs her entire YouTube channel with ads and promoted videos everywhere. She didn't do the hard work like I did for 14 years building my channel. She had my brother's money and right-wing money helping her prop up. Because, if she did the hard way like me, without any help, she would not do that
She get literally -1 subscriber.
She's just as stupid
and look, I'm loving this. Look at this. 5,000, 4,200, 8,200, 8,000, 5,000, 3,000, 5,000, 2,000, 5,000. She's not getting any views either.
Yeah, and as I was saying, she's just as dumb as Ben, but she doesn't have the charisma that he does, so she is bad. And of course, she's just as big of an idiot as Ben. And she did a video recently called 5 Lies the Left Tells Women That Make Me Furious, in all caps. Alright, so of course, what lies do us on the left say that we tell women that make her furious? Alright, well, let's go see what makes her so mad. Are you ready?
Hello, Classic Crew, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about 5 things the left tells women that make me furious.
Can't hear anything again.
Wow, I have it full volume.
Yeah, I literally cannot hear anything.
If you are new to my channel, here we talk about classic living and traditional values, and I would love to put my book club, my movie stack that just make me mad. I saw this on another person's channel. They did this thing where it was like 5 things in their field that make me furious, and I thought that was super fun. And I've got some things that make me furious, so I'm ready to talk about it. Not happy.
Okay, we get it. You're mad. Now tell us what the 5 things us lefties said that make you mad that we say to women.
Let's get
I want to
into
hear
it.
Yep.
Number 1. Why does the left insist on telling women that sex with random people is empowering? It's not. It's just not. Having sex with one man who loves you, respects you, wants to have a family with you, that's empowering.
It's not that we say that it's empowering. It's just if you want to fuck multiple people, men or women, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we point out.
Exactly.
Whereas you demonize people who do want to fuck multiple people or have non-monogamous relationships, like polygamous relationships, be with multiple people and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's not empowering. Some people will say that as like a fuck you because you're such a condescending little cunt to people that don't follow how you do it. That's probably why they say it's empowering. But in the end, there's nothing wrong with it. Just like there's nothing wrong if you wanting to be monogamous and all that.
That's pretty awesome. Because you want to know...
Well, to you, being monogamous is awesome. To others, like me, it's not. Same goes for being married. Marriage is cringe to me. So I don't want to hear about it from you like it's so special or anything. You do you, I'll do me, and we'll all be happy.
What's really...
I don't demonize you for being monogamous and married. Don't demonize me for being polyamorous and not married.
empowering is a guy who loves you enough to want to make you feel good, as opposed to a guy who wants to have a one-night stand and is looking for his own pleasure.
Drop out and then drop back in quick.
What? You do know there are people that don't just do flings, right? There are people that fuck multiple people, and it's not like a one-night stand or anything. And to you, that might not be a good thing. To others, that might be awesome. Because you're so stuck up you can't consider maybe people like that.
Yeah.
Have you considered that? That a guy who is devoted to you, who loves
she's
you,
a conservative cuck, and so
Yep.
and so her mind can't process any of that.
going to spend his life with you, cares whether or not you are having fun.
Not everyone wants that though. Not everyone's happily married either. Like divorce is like 50%. Remember?
A guy who is never going to see you again
Yeah.
cares if he is having fun. Which is more empowering? Which is more empowering? A situation where if you got pregnant, the guy was ready and willing to have children with you, is excited about it, wants to be the father of your children, or having sex with a guy who would absolutely panic if you told him that you were pregnant?
I think a lot of people probably would be terrified at first with pregnancy because a big chunk of pregnancy is accidental. But of course, when that happens, you're not going to be happy about the outcomes that probably the majority of women that have an accidental pregnancy are going to like. Oh, you're not going to like that.
Of course not.
Because it begins with the A word. And you want a man.
Because she supports murdering women who are seeking or have had abortions. Just like North Carolina wants to do.
Be a big problem. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that having sex with people outside of marriage is not empowering.
It's not a big deal though either.
It's easy to convince yourself and lie to yourself and say, well, I like sex. So if I like sex, then it must be empowering for me to get it however I want it.
Well, yeah, that's exactly how it is. If they think it's empowering to do that, yeah, that's on them. Simple as that.
No.
Yes.
That's just wrong.
No, it's not wrong. It's up to the individual person to decide if they want to or not.
And it's stupid.
Exactly.
Okay. You think it's stupid. Okay, if you think it's stupid, that's fine. But guess what? We don't care if you think it's stupid. We'd rather do that. We'll do us, you do you.
And we honestly think you're stupid instead.
Well, yes.
Not us. You're the stupid one.
Who has to have her channel astroturfed by your brother.
And
Having
it still
sex
doesn't
with
go
the
anywhere in the viewership count because you're boring.
Person that you have chosen to build a life with, because, you know, sex is not just any other physical activity.
To other people's, it is just a physical activity. It's just for fun, not just for having kids or romance.
It is a unique one. It is a special one that you share with one person, and that can lead to the creation of a baby.
Your Christian fundamentalist right-wing garbage is blinding you on this one.
Yeah. Keep that in marriage. Enjoy it.
No. You fuck whenever you want to, as long as consenting adults, married or not.
With the person who loves you and cares about you. And
doesn't even have to be about love. If you want to go fuck a prostitute, as long as it's consenting, go right ahead.
And stop treating sex like something you can do willy-nilly. 'Cause
what's wrong with that? If people want to have it willy-nilly, what's wrong with that if people are consenting? I mean, you think married couples don't do that too?
You shouldn't, and you can't.
Yep.
And the left is doing women a real disservice.
No. We say let women, and men too, do whatever they want when it comes to fucking. You, on the other hand, if you had your way, you would ban monogamous married couples from fucking.
By trying to convince them
she would ban
that
be heterosexual, same intraracial couples, quote unquote, in the missionary position between 1 to 6 minutes for the purposes of procreation only. Literally everything else is sodomy according to them.
Yeah.
sex outside of marriage with everybody and anybody is empowering. It's not. I've got quite a few videos on my channel about this, so if you are interested in hearing more, check them out. But yeah, that's number one, and it makes me furious.
Cope,
seethe, mold,
Number two,
etc., etc.
Shout your abortion. Get an abortion. Have an abortion rather than have a baby. It is good for women to have the option to murder their child so that they can pursue their careers.
Well, that's your incorrect moral framing on the thing. How about that one?
No, that's wrong.
It's not.
None of that is true. And this makes me so mad.
Cool.
Because number one, it's murder. Okay.
It's not.
Get that off the table.
No, it's not.
Number two, no woman is better off for killing her child.
What makes you think that? What if a woman was raped? I would think she'd be probably better off aborting the child if that happened.
In the fetus life of the mother.
Yeah.
None of them are supported by Abby.
What if the woman would die? Do you think then it would be a valid reason to get an abortion to save her life?
Nope.
What about a woman who's poor and the kid would live a terrible life? I would think that would be a valid reason to get abortion if the kid's going to be worse off and the mother and the family would be worse off. Yeah, there are valid reasons to get an abortion.
Does not support any of that.
Yep, of course you know that.
Women can tell themselves that they are. They can tell themselves that they're better off.
Yeah, they can, and that's up to them to decide if they're better off. Just like it's up to them if they want. Just like it's up to them if they think it's better off having a kid. It's literally their choice, which it should be.
Killed their child so that they could have a more stable life, but women
in a lot of cases that would be better for their lives.
Who abort their children know that it's a child. They know, and it's their baby, and they're doing something harmful not only to another person but to themselves.
Why don't we? The only time abortion is harmful to the woman is when it's made illegal and they have to do back alley abortions where it's not safe. That's when it actually can lead to harm. But that's your guys' fault, not us. We want it to be safe, legal, and of course, our policy will also lead to be less likely to happen. So, liberal policies for the W over and over again.
We encourage women
forever
to embrace their natural strength as mothers and tell them that they can do this thing that seems so scary.
Not every woman wants to be a mother, though, you idiot. And also, like we said, sometimes shit happens. Accidents, rape, life against the mother and stuff like that. There are valid reasons to get an abortion if you so choose to. You just have too far right of a pro-life ideology that you think it's all wrong no matter what. But sorry, it's not.
They're not pro-life, they're pro-death.
Yep.
Instead of
pro-women dying and being murdered for the quote crime of seeking an abortion.
And likewise, we're not pro-abortion, we're pro-choice. If you want to keep the kid, even if you're raped, although I probably would not recommend if you're going to die from it, but if you want to keep it despite that consequence, then that's your choice, and I'll have to accept it.
Telling them that they just can't handle it and that this isn't the right time. They should just get rid of this human.
Some women and families really are just not capable yet for whatever reason of having kids, and they should not have it forced upon them.
That was put into their care by themselves, presumably, because in 99% of cases, women who get pregnant and want an abortion, it was because they had sex of their own volition. And
here we go. Back to the old argument of it's the woman's fault for having sex. No.
God.
No.
How about it's the man's fault for raping her?
How about maybe people are gonna fuck no matter what? This is the same argument of, if you don't want to get pregnant, then don't have sex. No. If you want to fuck, you should be able to. But try contraceptives if you can. But here's the thing. Sometimes contraceptive doesn't 100% work. Condoms can break. Women can forget about doing the pill and all that. Stuff can just happen. Accidents happen. Contraceptive is not 100% effective. So when that happens and a pregnancy happens, if they don't want to have the kid, they should be able to abort it. How about that?
And then we're like, oh, whoops. Another reason why sex is not empowering. This is just
Again, sex is empowering depending on who the person is. Your far-right Christian fundamentalist frame view does not apply to everyone.
Horrible lie that the left has perpetrated against women, that abortion is the best option, or
it depends on the woman. Maybe it is the best option. It depends on the circumstances, you fucking idiot.
A good option, or an option at all. Abortion is wrong.
That's where you're wrong.
It's bad for women. It hurts them.
No. It only hurts them if it's back alley. So here's the reality. For a woman, if you're pregnant, if you want to keep it, keep it. If you want to abort it, get the abortion. It's up to you. Don't let this cunt tell you otherwise. It's your choice, and that's how it should be.
I truly am furious about this.
Again, cope. All right, let's see number 3.
Mold, etc.
Number 3, fulfill your potential. Fulfill your potential, ladies. You can't fulfill your potential unless you get out of the house. How are you going to show how smart you are unless you have an amazing career? I hate that. I hate that.
You hate that society encourages women to work? Okay then. To me, I see it as a no-brainer. If women want to work, they should be able to, and if they want to stay home, that's their choice.
Why can't a woman fulfill her potential at home raising her children?
Abby, they can, but not every woman wants to do that. There are a lot of women that want to work primarily. There are women that could do both. There are women who want to stay home all day and have kids. Like, all those things can happen. Whereas we're trying to encourage women to do what they want. You don't like women being encouraged to do anything but what you want to do.
What does potential even mean?
Because she's extremely
Why
authoritarian.
do I have to prove my potential to people who think of me as replaceable, rather than fulfilling my potential to the little humans I am raising?
It's up to you to decide what potential you want to do. If you want to stay home all day, and you think that's empowering to you, by all means, go right ahead. But guess what? Not every woman, or even man too, wants to do that. It's up to the person to decide what they want to do.
Who I literally could not be replaced. Like, I was made to be their mother. They cannot replace me as their mother. So why do we tell women that the only way that they can fulfill their potential is outside of the home?
They're not. They're encouraging women who want to work if they so choose to. God.
Job in a career.
Unfortunately for you want to lock all women in the kitchen, in the home, because you're a misogynist piece of shit.
Oh, but women can't be sexist to other women. Don't you know that? Oh my God.
No, they can be sexist as fuck.
Yep, but that's what the far right and SJWs told me over the years, that women can't be sexist to other women.
Kind of language, because it makes it as though if you stay at home, you have failed, or...
No, it's not implying at all. You think it is. It's to women who don't want to do that. If you are fine with being a stay-at-home mom, that's empowering you, by all means, go right ahead. But there are many women who don't want to do that. They want to do other things. And those ads or whatever you're talking about are encouraging them to do that. It's as simple as that. It obviously doesn't apply to you. So just ignore it.
Or you're not living up to your task.
Of course you can't, because she loves to mess in the lives of everyone.
Because she's a busybody
and being
bitch.
A whiny bitch for 6 views a video.
She's a triple B, a busybody bitch.
Yep.
Like, what are you talking about? The most important thing you can do is build a home and build your family.
No.
Have you even noticed that she's even less charismatic than her brother?
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why she's AstroTurf. Because she has no charisma. And she's just as stupid as him, too. Hell, in some ways, she might even be...
maybe even stupider.
Yeah, I was about to say, she might even be stupider in a lot of ways, too.
Like, why do we make it so that women have to show off that they have done something that is visibly fulfilling their potential?
You literally were talking about the idea of having kids as a visual potential thing or whatever. Again, that is not what all women want to do. Some women want to do different things than you. And us on the left want to encourage them to do what they want. And that also includes women like you. If you want to enjoy what you want to do, go right ahead. Whereas you want to demonize and try and force women to do things that you want to do even though they don't want to. We want to give you a choice to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, if any person can be a mother because you don't need a degree to get pregnant and have a baby, then there's no credit given to the women who do motherhood well, who like care about.
Yeah, there is. Society strongly still encourages women to do that? Like, what are you talking about?
It and really put in effort.
What is she on about now?
She's implying like society doesn't like recognize or care about women want to be stay-at-home moms when historically that is the case.
I mean, okay, there's like 1% of weirdo feminists who think that, but That's not a consistent take.
Most on the left don't give a crap what you want to do.
No. You fulfill your potential by just being a good person, by being a good mother.
But not every woman wants to be a mom. That's what you don't seem to get. Not every woman
Exactly.
wants to do that.
Of course, because she's also projecting on her own thing onto all women on the planet, when quite a few women don't.
And there are a lot of women who are just shitty moms. Like, that's just to happen.
Yeah.
You don't have to get this high-powered career to prove you're smart, or to prove you're ambitious, or to prove you did a good
You don't need that. But it's also, if they want to, that's their choice.
job. Stupid. I hate that.
Cope.
Number 4.
Touch grass, etc.
Be body positive. I hate this language. Okay, so here's my issue with this whole body positivity movement, and I've talked about this a lot. So, number 1, we encourage women to love their bodies, but not loving their bodies where they're at, and for what they do, while also encouraging them to be healthy and lose weight or gain weight if needed. Like, we encourage people to love their bodies where they're at. And that's beautiful.
So this is, I don't even know how this applies to women. This is just fat acceptance. We've even talked about this like last year or so. What they're trying to talk about is encourage people to not like self-hate themselves for being overweight. Because guess what? Because guess what? A lot of times people are just straight up bullied for being fat and all that. I know, because I deal with it all the time on YouTube. Now, of course, I just laugh it off because I think it's funny when people bring it up. But a lot of people take it very, very harsh to the point where they might do suicide and stuff like that. It's just bullying. What they're trying to do is encourage people to just be not accept who you are, because you still need to lose weight and all that because it's not good for you. But you're not like a bad person to be overweight and all that. Like, they're trying to do that. You're on the, like, there's two extremes. One, which is the more common, I think, where people demonize people for being fat. And then the other half, which is very small, I think, the people that accept being fat to such a point where they consider it, like, healthy and all that, which, no, that's not true. But you guys that demonize people for being fat are so fucking toxic that you cause problems to the point where people want to push fat acceptance.
But really, it's very unhealthy, and it doesn't encourage women to actually like get to a healthy place with their bodies. And at the same time,
I think it does, because society encourages people to be healthy.
Encourage women to be immodest all the time. Like, we put women in direct competition with each other by encouraging people to dress in a way that shows off their entire bodies.
No, we don't tell or force women to dress like that such. If they want to dress that immodesty in your eyes, that's their choice. Likewise, there are women.
That's their freedom!
Freedom! Just like there are women like Mayumi who want to have like long dresses and all that. That's their choice. Let them do what they want. We're not telling them to dress however they want. That's up to them if they want to. Because guess what? There are many women who want to dress mossy like Mayumi. There are a lot of women that want to dress very revealing. And guess what? Their choice.
Like, a fashion trend
not yours, Abby. You may want to dress up in a beekeeper suit, but we don't try to impose that on other women, okay?
A bra last season. You're just supposed to wear a bra out. And it's like, oh no,
I don't think the majority of women wear a bra out in public unless it was like on a beach or like a exercise outfit or something like that. Do you know something of that sort?
I have no idea.
Because that's the only time I ever see women wear bras where I'm at, is if I'm on Ocean City's boardwalk.
we're body positive because fat
usually
women
it's covered up by some kind of top, so...
That too.
And curvy women and boyish women can all wear these things, and they should all wear these things. Who's
their choice.
Gonna look better in these things? Come on.
Well, to some people, they would look fine in either one. Like, come on. Again, now you are kind of body shaming in that regard.
Of course, she can't help it.
You're doing the thing we're complaining about. Whereas we don't care what women want to wear.
Of course.
He's
a hypocrite. What do you expect?
You have a problem with women dressing however they want, so you want to demonize them. And if you had your way, you would force them to dress however they want. I mean, however you want them to be dressed as. Whereas we think they should dress however they want. Who cares? You bitch.
Exactly.
Why are we putting people?
Honestly, she probably really would want them to dress like they fucking do in Iran or Saudi Arabia.
On.
And they've got
Why
the bloody
are we putting
beekeeper
people
suit on.
in direct competition with each other by encouraging them to expose their bodies?
No one's encouraging them. It's just a choice, you idiot.
We're also telling them, like, love where you're at. You're so beautiful. We're not blind. People are smart. We can tell what's a healthier body than another. And by...
Well, we can, yes. But you shouldn't demonize people who are fat. That's what we said earlier.
Exposing everything and encouraging people to expose everything, we're only doing a disservice to everybody. It's so stupid.
How is it doing a disservice for people or women wanting to dress immodestly in your eyes? Also, I would be very curious what your definition of modesty is, because I'm sure to a lot of women that what you consider modest is way, way too restrictive in their eyes.
I'm so against the immodesty of our culture for a lot of reasons, but like this is one reason that I hate, because it's so, these two things are paradoxical and they act like they're not, but they are. It's upsetting. On top of which, I mean, the whole idea that you have to expose yourself to show that you're confident.
No one is telling them or forcing women to do that. It's just their choice. That's all there is to it.
Is so stupid. You can be confident in your modesty. I cover up because I love my body and I respect it, and I only want to share it with one person.
Yeah, okay, fine. If you want to do it, that's perfectly fine. And I would be against people demonizing you for dressing as such. But guess what else? I'm against you demonizing other women for dressing in modesty in your eyes. That is their choice, just like it's your choice to dress however you want to dress.
Who will show it the respect it deserves. Why do you get access, stranger on the internet, to my body and you don't care a lick about me? Like, no, we're not doing that. The body positivity.
But if women want to, they should be allowed to.
Movement.
You busybody.
And the immodesty of our era, like,
exactly.
I hate it. Just dress in a way that is attractive, not attracting.
Here's a better idea, people. And this applies to everyone, not just women. You dress however you want to dress. If you want to dress if you want to dress like a prude like her, that's your choice. Do it. If you want to dress in modesty, whatever her in her eyes is, you do it. It's up to you.
That gives people an opportunity to see your personality and doesn't make people focus on your boobs. Give people an opportunity to exercise and get healthy and well.
Are you implying that people can't do that when women are dressing in modesty in your eyes? That sounds kind of misogynistic. And also not only misogynistic, misandrous. Are you assuming that women only think about women's tits and can't think straight if they see them? That's the exact same argument fundamentalist Muslims make.
Exactly.
You seem like you agree with those people.
Oh, she probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's so stupid. Here we go, the final one.
Last but not least is number 5. Women don't need no man. I was talking to Jacob about this because this concept bothers me so much. When we watch like girl power movies or movies that are directed towards women, there's so many these days that if they're not a chick flick, it's a movie where a woman needs to prove that she's independent at the end. So she doesn't have any man. She's like, look at me, I figured it out. I don't need any man to help me find myself.
So you're crying about a plot device in a movie or such? Big deal.
Because I'm so strong and empowered. But movies that are geared towards men that teach them lessons are like, you know what's really important? Family. You know what's really important? Your wife. Why do we do that for men, which is correct?
Well, no, it's just a plot device in a movie, so who cares? And also, no, I've seen, although I'm not a movie person, I've seen plenty of movies over my life that do that with men being considered to be strong and independent and all that. Like, come on. That's a more common plot device like in anime, which I do watch a lot. Like, come on.
Correct. And do the opposite for women. Like, why are we encouraging women to not look for that stability, that love, that...
Society by and large does strongly pressure women like you are doing to be that, which we don't like. Yep. We want society to encourage people, men and women, to do whatever they want. It's you that wants to enforce your will on the others.
At home, that will bring them happiness.
But that's the thing, Abby. Not every woman finds being a stay-at-home mom happy. There are many women who don't find it happy. Many women want to be working. Like a lot of men don't want to be working every single day. Sometimes people want to do different things. And you know what? As someone on the left, I want them to encourage to be doing that. Whereas you don't want them to be encouraged to do that. You want to enforce your will on the others.
I mean, I get the idea that men are more pulled in the direction of wanting to just like screw around and not really be at home theoretically. Like,
yeah, society also pressures men to be working all the time, whereas women are pressured to be stay-at-home moms all the time. That's society pressured both men and women to do things they might not necessarily want to do.
They want to be more, they're more bachelors, and that women have more of a tendency to want to be married and have children, and so...
And you know what? Maybe the majority of women do want to do it. If so, good on them. That's their choice. But like I said, that does not mean every single woman wants to do that. And if they want to be working such, they should be able to, which you don't accept.
So maybe they're trying to make those women who haven't found that yet feel better about themselves, but don't encourage women to make those decisions. Like, what?
Hates women being outside the house.
Let me see.
Haven't found that yet feel better about themselves, but don't encourage women to make those decisions. Like, what? That's stupid. That's not good. It doesn't make anyone happy. I understand that we're trying to comfort those women who have not yet found this, but by making bad decisions, you're only making it harder for yourself to find a husband and to have...
But not every woman wants that, though. Especially, you do know, and you're not going to like this, but there are women who are gay, too, remember, who find the idea of a husband, though, revolting. Just like we would.
Children and have a home life.
Yeah.
Like, no. Women are not better off by being independent.
That's up to you. The person to decide that. Because guess what? There are women, and men, anyone too, feels being single and independent is better. Again, their choice. And your Christian fundamentalist garbage is moralized.
Jewish fundamentalism, remember? She's Ben's sister.
Yep.
So you're going to be Jewish, not
going
Christian.
Off without a man and not needing someone. Everybody needs a partner. Men need women, women need men. Done.
No. First off, there are homosexuals, remember, so not every man wants a woman, not every woman wants a man. There are also people who want multiple partners, and there's also people who don't want anyone ever. Like, that's a thing.
Exactly.
That exists, and they shouldn't be demonized for not wanting to conform.
Done. Solved.
Well, of course, she's a busybody bitch.
Just get married to heterosexuality, peoples, and every problem you have will be solved. This is what she's saying.
The mystery of the world has been solved. So stop telling women.
All the problems in the world would be solved if men and women just married each other. Did you just hear that?
That they are better off on their own. And that they're stronger on their own.
Again, it's up to them to decide if they want to, you idiot.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Like, figure yourself out.
Yeah, figure yourself
out. But don't eschew men. Men are very good for you. They will...
Not everyone wants to be around men, especially gay women, you idiot. I'm dying here laughing.
Make you better, and you will make them better. Good. Correct. Congratulations.
That's not true, though, for each person.
Gosh. The left is really doing a disservice to women. So these are the 5 things that are making
me... disservice. I think we're doing a service by encouraging women to do what they want.
Me furious today.
Exactly.
I'd love to know in the comments. What's the thing that's making you furious that the left is trying to tell women? What?
Or how about this? How about I tell you what 5 things that conservatives do mean, tell women that make me furious. Oh, wait, we just watched that right now.
What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
Entire Abby Shapiro.
Thank you guys so much.
But gets no views anyway, video.
Oh my god, that was so sad. So, what do you gotta say about that? That was so funny, though.
That was awesome, but also, hey, how do you somehow wind up even worse and dumber than Ben Shapiro? I guess stupidity runs in the family.
Careful, they might call you a misogynist for saying that.
It's her views that I hate, not her. Anyway, next up, gay club shooting and conservatives loving gay people getting shot up, just like in Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Well, now we went from laughing to seeing unfortunate crap. So unfortunately, this is like one of 2 shootings in the last 2 weeks that happened. One actually happened pretty close to me in I think it was in near Virginia Beach. It's only like a few hours away from here.
Damn.
At a Walmart. But then there was another shooting that happened recently in Colorado at a gay nightclub. And I think it was like 5 to 6
That
people.
sounds familiar.
Yes, like the Orlando Pulse shooting. But anyways,
Yep.
I think it was like somewhere between 5 to 6 people were killed, and I think all of them were gay and all that. And of course, I'm sure, although I haven't heard anything about this in the last week or so when this happened, but I'm sure you probably feel the same way too. This is most likely anti-LGBT hate crime and all that.
Oh, it definitely is. Well, he's been charged with hate crime and with terrorism offences, so yes, it's an act of domestic terrorism against the LGBT community.
There we go. But of course, as it happened, the right, by and large, on YouTube, made excuses for it. Be it Dim Fool, Crowder a retard, Benny Boy, Matt Walsh, Tucker Carlson, all of them made excuses for it. And oh boy, the one person Tucker Carlson brought on, oh boy, they said some really spicy things.
Okay. Remember that the last couple of videos haven't worked for me, so we're going to try and see if we can briefly sort that.
The right-wing's response to the Club Q massacre has been downright disturbing, but some responses have been far worse than others. But the worst one came from Tucker Carlson, unsurprisingly, where one of his guests effectively justified the violence against queer people. And the rhetoric isn't just getting increasingly genocidal. I think...
Yeah.
How do you not hear him from the mic? I have the full volume up to a point where it'll probably echo on the video.
That we've crossed that line to where this is explicitly genocidal rhetoric. Now, I'm going to play a very short clip from Tucker Carlson's program, but before we do that, I want to read an article.
I think I might know why, although this might not be a good idea. Let's see. Let me fix a thing on the mic.
That gives us a little bit of context about what him and his guest were talking about. This is courtesy of HuffPost. The Fox News host opened his segment by ticking off a list of his tropes.
Now you hear
characterizing gender-affirming care for trans youth as child abuse and suggesting that teaching children about the existence of gay and trans people equated to sexual exploitation, all while arguing he had nothing at all against gay people. Then he introduced his guest, Jamie Mitchell, the founder of an anti-trans coalition of gays called Gays Against Groomers, which pushes the demonizing narrative that having conversations with children about gender identity is somehow grooming, sexualizing, and indoctrinating them.
Oh my god. There's a Gays Against Groomers group that Tucker Carlson promoted. Oh my god. Oh, stupid.
So now that you have the context, we're going to watch a short clip from this conversation. And what she says is genuinely shocking. And she says this on national television with no pushback, just days after a massacre at a queer space.
Right. I mean, it shouldn't have to be said. But what is anti-LGBTQ that these people need to understand, and what is putting our community in great danger, is
people like you,
claiming that all of us support this and just associating all of us with this. Saying that groomer is an anti-LGBTQ sleuth.
Because you guys throw out groomer for every single thing. You think anything LGBT
They literally think that one gay person existing on the planet means that one gay person is grooming every single child on the planet.
Slur. That is doing irreparable damage to us.
What's doing irreparable damage is you calling everyone that's pro-LGBT groomers, which, by the way, That happened everywhere I look.
As a whole, and is putting a really large target on our backs.
It's all projection on many of their parts, though, because they're the ones that are the pedophiles.
Unfortunately, you know, the tragedy that happened in Colorado Springs the other night, you know, it was expected and predictable. We all, within Gays Against Groomers, saw this coming from a mile away. And sadly, I don't think it's going to stop until we end this evil agenda that is attacking children.
They're just saying the quiet part loud now. They are literally on national television justifying violence against queer people based on lies that they've been pushing. Now, before we get to the crux of her comments there, she says that saying that groomer is an anti-LGBTQ slur, that is doing irreparable damage to us. She's referring to pushback from people who don't like that Republicans effectively call anyone who disagrees with them groomers. And it has become a slur because that's the way that you all are using it. If you look at some of the videos that I've produced where I talk about LGBTQ plus issues, right-wing commenters call me a groomer simply because they disagree with me. Queer people on Twitter have been called groomers.
Yep, I remember seeing those comments too. People in Mike's chat calling him a groomer because he's pro-LGBT. Also, since he's gay, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a underhanded homophobic slur.
Jamie Mitchell herself called actor Ron Perlman a groomer for speaking out against Ron DeSantis' Don't Say Gay law. So the reason why groomer is now being treated as a slur is because you and your right-wing friends have bastardized that term. Grooming is a real thing that happens to children in this country. Priests, for example, groom and molest children.
But
it is a thing.
The Catholic Church is innocent in their eyes. You can't ever bring that up, remember? You're just anti-Catholic.
That is bad and dangerous. But what you say is grooming isn't actually grooming. Their standards is, well, you know, a drag queen was around a kid. Therefore,
it turned out that basically every single Catholic priest is a child molester.
Yep, that's the problem with you all. You think everything is pro-LGBT is grooming, when guess what? It isn't.
That's grooming. That's sexualizing children. Gender-affirming care is tantamount to sexual exploitation. This is what they say. So your lies have made it so that way the term grooming has lost all meaning. And grooming, to be clear, is bad. The overwhelming majority of people in the LGBTQ plus community everywhere are against grooming. But what you say is grooming is not grooming. But you say that to justify violence against your own community, Jamie. Now, she says here that the violence isn't going to stop until we end this evil agenda that is attacking children. Now, she's referring to a number of things,
Trans
presumably.
rights is an evil agenda from Gays Against Groomers.
Also things like that.
Gender-affirming care for trans youth. Family-friendly pride events.
To them.
Drag queen story hour, things of that nature. She views that as attacking children and sexualizing children. Therefore, if that doesn't stop, then the violence is going to continue because what they're doing is evil. Now, the reason why that statement from her should frighten everyone is because that is the same logic that Nazis used to justify the Holocaust. In an article published in the journal History in the Making, author Tracy Martin describes the propaganda campaign that Nazis used to demonize Jewish people in an effort to get non-Jewish Germans to think that the Holocaust was an acceptable solution to the so-called Jewish problem. Jewish people were portrayed as criminals, parasites, plagues, and serpents, and it was suggested that genocide against them was justified because if you didn't destroy them, then they'd destroy you first. And now we're seeing the same exact tactic being used against members of the LGBTQ plus community to justify violence against them. And this rhetoric is not relegated to fringe areas of the internet. It has gone mainstream. Tim Pool, with a platform of millions of people, said we shouldn't tolerate pedophiles grooming kids. Club Q had a grooming event.
They did not, Dimful, so shut the fuck up and take off your beanie already.
How do we prevent the violence and stop the grooming? Now, there's zero evidence that any...
And how about you change that T in your name into a D? That way people like me to have the same name don't have to look like idiots compared to you.
Grooming or sexual exploitation or molestation went on at Club Q.
Embrace
but he's saying here, since they were doing something evil, they were grooming kids, presumably to molest them. Therefore, the violence is justified.
He's probably still butthurt that his sister destroyed him recently, remember?
Yes,
that's the subtext there. That's someone like Tim Pool mainstreaming fascist rhetoric essentially justifying genocide against an entire community. And Lance from the Serfs points out how the right's response to mass shootings has changed with time. They went from offering thoughts and prayers to downplaying the role that guns have to just straight up justifying it because queer spaces have become grooming zones for children, according to right-wingers. Their language has become
conservative, which means he's a groomer by default.
Explicitly
also everything else.
To where they are justifying violence and genocide against queer people, all based on lies. This is what Jamie Mitchell views as sexual exploitation of children. She gave us one example.
No normal adult has any interest in acting this way and dressing this way in front of children. So listen, you can keep calling us bigots until you're blue in the face, but I'm going to just tell you right now that there's nothing that's going to stop us from fighting to protect children from these groomers and to get them out of our community. That is why I started the coalition Gays Against Groomers.
Her example of grooming is literally just a queer person in the presence of a child. That's grooming to them. That to them is the sexual exploitation of kids. Because if a kid learns that gay and trans people exist, well then they might want to be gay and trans because clearly it's a choice, so that's a danger to them.
That's what
You're
it also
sexually
boils down to. The same old stupid argument that being gay is a choice when it's not. You're just being who you are. Just like people who are heterosexual, we didn't choose to be heterosexual, we just are.
Exploiting them. That's the actual logic that they're using. Now, there are things that I find controversial, right? Toddlers and tiaras, these creepy children beauty pageants, taking kids to Hooters, taking your kid to a game where there's cheerleaders with skimpy clothing. Like,
there's nothing wrong with those two things though, Mike. Taking your kid to Hooters and going to a game with cheerleaders, especially since most sports cheerleading is probably like a halftime thing. It's not even the main spectacle. I wouldn't call that really grooming. But
that's because everything is grooming, according to them.
But also, it is true, as Mike pointed out, a lot of people do that hypocrisy crap, and like he said with the beauty pageants for kids and all that, which pretty much is no different than the stuff they accuse with drag queen story hour and all that. But but they don't see the problems with that, but they see the non-existent problems with the trans stuff.
You would think that based on their standards, they would view that also as equally problematic, but they don't. And it's because they have an agenda. They very clearly are narrowly targeting LGBTQ plus people because they don't like LGBTQ plus people. They want to erase LGBTQ plus people from existence. Now, if you're wondering why Tucker Carlson didn't push back, it's because he doesn't care if gay people die. In fact, he probably prefers it. So the editor...
Plus, Tucker Carlson is an idiot.
Editor-in-chief of Populous shared this image from Tucker Carlson's yearbook, and you can see that it says he was part of the Dan White Society. Now, he explains, Dan White Society was young Tucker Carlson's joke about how it's funny to murder gay people. Now, for those unaware, Dan White is the individual who assassinated Harvey Milk, the first openly gay man ever elected to public office in the United States. Tucker Carlson thinks it's funny that he was part of the Dan White Club. This is who we're dealing with here. But it's not just Tucker Carlson. The individual Jamie Mitchell, who tries to speak as an authority figure on gay issues since she is a lesbian herself, well, here's what she believes gender-affirming care is comparable to.
What's happening now would make, I think Joseph Mengele, I believe that was his name, the Nazi doctor, this puts him to shame. They are basically using...
Medical transitions and all that are just like the Nazi doctors. Of course.
Using an entire generation of children as lab rats for this sick ideology.
If you're gonna...
and they're full steam ahead with it, and they see us as a definite roadblock and a threat to that.
Of course you do.
She's comparing medically necessary gender-affirming care to Nazi experimentation.
No surprise.
These people are genuinely sick, and they're demanding that you stop giving children with gender dysphoria gender-affirming care, which means you use their preferred pronouns, let them dress the way that they want to dress, call them by a new name.
Although, Mike, that's not medical, that's societal, but yeah, they would definitely want to ban that.
She's saying, essentially, that if you don't stop that, then the violence against the LGBTQ plus community is justified, and it will indeed continue. So in other words, if you don't kill yourselves, we're going to kill you, because we all know what happens when we deny gender affirming care to trans youth. And I'm sorry, but hiding kids away from the existence of queer people is just impossible, because queer people exist all throughout the world. I mean, they're your cashiers, they're your bank tellers, they're your friends, they're your family members. So if you believe that a queer person being in the presence of a kid is tantamount to sexual exploitation, and that said sexual exploitation justifies violence against this community, then you're just outright calling for violence against this community. Now, Jamie Mitchell is not a representative of the queer community, even if she is a lesbian herself. This is somebody who is a right-wing propagandist. In a lengthy Twitter thread, user White Rose AFA found out that she follows and promotes open white supremacists, and even though she's Jewish herself, she shared anti-Semitic dog whistles about George Soros, she shared Islamophobic content, and in response to Michael Harriot discussing police brutality against black people, she responded with the racist black crime statistic trope, justifying their deaths at the hands of police, saying despite making up only 13% of the population, blacks commit over 50% of the crime. Perhaps that has something to do with it. So basically saying these police are justified in killing unarmed black people. She's called for public executions of public figures, and she's even promoted the Great Replacement conspiracy theory on Telegram. So that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with a person who is deep within that right-wing bubble, who is using her identity as a gay woman to spread homophobia and fear against her own community. It's like Dave Rubin, but much, much more gross and disgusting than Dave Rubin. And she thinks that in the event fascists choose to do a full-on genocide against queer people, not that they're already,
invoking Great Replacement, the white genocide conspiracy theory video that Lauren Southern committed, if that manifesto contains contains references to the white genocide conspiracy theory video, that's now 106 people that have been murdered because of people inspired by that video.
Speaking of which, we need to do that white replacement video that Mr. Beats did some time ago. I've been wanting to do it for the last few episodes, but I keep forgetting to post it.
Not trying that legally, but she thinks that because she's siding with the bigots, they're going to spare her. Nope. You're going into the blender too if they decide to kill us all, Jamie. Sorry. Fascists don't want queer people to exist. Even the ones that are trying to aid and abet the fascists in their own demise. That's how it's always been throughout history. So this is really, really gross, and I need people to understand once again that these people, they want violence against the gay community. They want trans people dead, and any way that they can facilitate the deaths of this community, they're going to do that. So if that means working insane people into frenzies so that way they open fire in queer spaces, denying gender affirming care to trans youth so they commit suicide, any way they can see the bloodshed happen is a victory for them. So that's what we're working with here. I think that it's dark, it's disturbing, but we need to know what we're working with so we can prepare ourselves and protect ourselves.
Exactly. So we had to say about that.
Fucking hell. Not only they know that like this is evil. They know that their rhetoric is causing acts of domestic terrorism, and they love it and they want more. They get off to it.
Yep, no surprise. All right, so now on to the next topic,
and that would be Minecraft Reddit meltdown.
God. I think I forgot the video. I gotta go get that really quickly. I gotta go find it. I knew I was missing something. This is too funny. It just happened recently. Man, I feel bad I'm gonna have to do all this editing out too. So, anyways, I finally got the link. I am a retard. Let me go post it. So, anyways, as you all know, lately, last few months, I started playing Minecraft, just like you do as well. Glad I got into it. But anyways, as a Redditor user all the time, I found out that there's a Reddit for Minecraft, and I joined it.
It's one of the most toxic cesspits in the world.
Oh, so you know about it?
I've read the some of the stuff that's been posted there, and yeah, it is.
Well, I didn't find about this till a few days ago.
Oh my god.
I didn't know any of this stuff because I just joined a few weeks ago. First off, before we get to the main one, I had a big problem recently with the Reddit because they had a meltdown on me, massively disliked my comments like negative 100 posts. I'm karma, because I didn't like that they were crying about people asking questions on how to play the game and stuff. And I told them basically, as kindly as possible, to stop fucking complaining and get over if people need help to learn how to play a game. And like almost a negative 100 karma post I got for saying that. It's annoying when people ask us to get help. How about fuck off and deal with it? I have to help people all day with rigs or rod stuff and how to make trucks and tracks every day. Do you see me crying about it? No, I just help them. So shut the fuck up and help people if they need to do so. Because not everyone knows how to do this stuff. Just like I had to get help a few weeks ago on how to make an iron farm on me and Gavin's world, because the YouTuber I watched, their video didn't work, so someone had to give me another video and show me how to make it, and it's working now. So yeah, see, when you're helpful, people will stop asking questions, but when people need help, you just help them instead of being cunts over it. But this video that just happened recently, oh no, this is way worse than anything happened lately. This has gotten bad where they had to actually apologize with it not being sincere and all that. So, let's play the video, but of course you said you probably can't hear, can you?
Yeah, no.
Well, I didn't think I'd have to make another video about it.
It's really weird
and this is
that's happened.
And this is from a Minecraft YouTuber, Phoenix SC, if you ever heard of him.
Nope.
Just heard about him today. But anyways, I guess there's really no point really to watch the video since you're not going to be able to hear it. So basically, just recently, a week or so ago, someone posted a post on the Minecraft Reddit that their girlfriend of 5 years died recently, and before she died on their world, she was making looks like some sort of castles structure, as I'm going to get the picture really quickly for you to look at. It looks really nice too, as there you go on the Switch. There you go, take a look at that.
Oh yes, I like that one.
Yeah. So this person, his girlfriend, were working on this for a while, and she died recently. So she asked if he posts this on Reddit to ask any ideas on to make some sort of memorial for it and all that. So people posted it, and a few days later, as I get back to the video, because all this stuff unfortunately got deleted recently, he posted a few days later on the Minecraft Reddit another message showing what he made, and look at this inside. He made a big giant tree with I think it was soul pieces or whatever floating around it, and it looks really cool, don't it?
It does.
Now, since you're better at this game than me, how long would you think this would take to make?
In survival mode, that would take ages. That would. Even if he had the resources to do all that, that would still take quite a while. Because the trees, not so bad. You can get that pretty easily.
Wait,
but the soul stuff, that's what is that again? If I remember correctly.
It was soul something that floats around the tree, I think the Reddit thing said. So, this is an actual, normal tree that you could just grow in the game, right?
Or
part of it. Or do you think it might be something that makes it look like a tree, just placed there?
Honestly, you don't... Let me just take a quick look on this.
Because I know...
I'm going to say that... Nah, that one's... I'd say he's built that up. He's built that up.
Because I know in me and Gavin's
over with many trees.
Because
you're not going to get one that big. Oh! Whoa! Floating eyes of Ender. They look like floating... No, I know what they are, and they're... Jeez, those... In survival, those are really rare. There's only one place you can get them. He's had to go to the deep dark, I think.
But anyways...
Or, similar couple of places. There's only, a couple of places you can get those, so... He's probably had to have had a lot of that material already to have got that in 5 days.
Yeah, but
because that thing that's not easy.
Yeah, I was just trying to say too, because me and Gavin have a world, and we have a whole bunch of trees near our house that we planted, and when they tend to when we cut some of them down, we don't fully cut them down, so they end up merging together like one giant tree. So I'm wondering if that's also the case too. Like it's one tree.
Probably that would sound like what's happening.
Because I'm pretty sure you can't get leaf blocks from trees and plant them on there, right?
You can, but you got to use the only way you can do that is with the shears. The only way to collect leaves.
Huh, I never knew. I guess I'll have to try it out in the future. But yeah, so anyways, now we got that out of the way. He made a post showing this tree he made as a memorial to his girlfriend and his hut. And of course, the post got deleted.
Yep.
As of course I found the Minecraft Reddit and their modders really like to delete things all the time. So, of course, for a stupid reason, the reason it was deleted because, let's see, where was it? Oh, it was a chain post. Please do not make update, fix, etc. posts within only a couple of days since the original post. Instead, add your updates as comments or edit the text of your text post. Why is it a big deal to do a chain post? How about you cap and deal with it? It's not a big deal, for God's sake. I would think that's actually worse to do it inside the same comment, because then people won't know it gets updated unless they go back and read it. Whereas if you did a new post, people would see it then. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, like I said, it got deleted. So the person did a report on it to try and dispute it to get resolved, and one of the moderators replied back with 3 reasons why it was rejected. 1, it followed under the rules, whatever, and the first 2 things were about it follows under the rules, but guess what the third one they said was?
Stop milking your girlfriend's death for karma or something.
You milked the death of your girlfriend for enough karma at this point.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Bruh, that's literally Gavin level bad. That's literally Gavin level bad.
Yeah.
Dude, why would you say something like that? Come on. And of course there are people making excuses people fake stuff like this to get karma and all that. Well, guess what? Even if all this is fake, who cares? Karma is just a number. It's no different than like or dislike on YouTube videos and stuff. Who cares?
Exactly.
It's not a big deal. I lost 100 karma from the Minecraft Reddit crying about me ripping them a new asshole for making a big deal about people asking for help. And I have almost 10,000 karma. Do you see me bragging about it? No. I don't give a fuck. It's just a number. This is a stupid, ignorant ass comment for a reason why they didn't remove it.
No surprise from that Reddit server.
So yeah. So because of Phoenix SC doing a video on them, they got ripped into a new asshole now lately. To the point now where they did a apology post, if I could find that again, because it was one of their it was one of the top things lately, and man was it so bombed to death how much it got shit on me because it was so bad. An apology from the subreddit, as I had to dislike it too. This message concerns the recent controversy where a user's dispute over in a private moderation mail was badly dealt with by us. On behalf of the team, I apologize for the poor judgment used in the reply, and I personally apologize to the user. It should not have happened. We'll be handling this internally to make sure it does not happen again. Also, our plans are still in progress for a wholesome rule revision for the subreddit to make things cleaner and simpler.
Fuck off. Just fuck off.
Here's 2 things I would say. First off, get rid of the moderator who said that. And honestly, from what I've read up, you might have to just get rid of all the moderators and replace them with better people instead of being
just get rid of the whole Reddit page.
Yeah, and also stop having stupid rules like that. There's no reason why people should not be allowed to post stuff like the chain post. It's not a big deal. So get over it. They delete so much stuff. Apparently, from what I heard, they accidentally deleted an official post about an update to Minecraft. That's funny or what?
tampons.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, that is hysterical.
I'm looking at the rules right now.
They just love deleting everything, don't they?
No memes are allowed. No chain posts. No suggestions. No self-promotions. No tired submissions and all that. Oh, my God. Big deal. So, yeah. So, I'm probably
basically we reserve the right to ban the entire bloody Reddit server shut the Reddit server down, which is what they should do, honestly. And also, just start over with new everybody.
And let me go find really quickly, because when I was reading this earlier, laughing about all the stuff they said, I came across another Minecraft Reddit, if I can find it, that they probably got deleted because it was promotion, but a supposed nicer Minecraft Reddit page, if I could just find it, because I joined it early and I might see if they're more nicer and all that. Like, they were just being toxic little shits. So yeah, what do you had to say about this meltdown on the Minecraft Reddit? There's the other Reddit I was talking about.
Not a fucking surprise.
Yep, absolutely disgusting.
Sounds like it actually legitimately sounds like the moderators there just love banning everything. They don't want any interaction on their Reddit server because they hate the game and the server.
Maybe an Enderman needs to come by and steal their blocks. Maybe it'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Or maybe a creeper should come up behind them. Or better yet, maybe they should have a gas come up from behind them. Or maybe they're just salty they couldn't defeat the Ender Dragon again.
No, they couldn't even beat a zombie.
They couldn't even beat a zombie.
Yep.
No, they couldn't beat a zombified villager. How does it feel getting roasted by someone who just started playing the game 6 months ago and yet already has over 300 hours into it? Talk about no life. Yet I'm still not an asshole like you people are.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're on Reddit, I would strongly probably suggest maybe leaving the Minecraft Reddit and go to Minecraft 2, which probably will hopefully be a much better Reddit, which I might check out later on in the future. Alright, now with that funny crap out of the way, on to the next thing.
Biden wanting to kill rail workers.
So, of course, as we talked about on the show, when Biden does something good, we're going to give him praise for it, but when he does something bad, we're going to criticize him for it. Now, after
here we go. It's time to criticize him.
After a few months of doing something good, now he, and of course the Democrats too, are back to being bad once again. So, off to the Rational National for this one, as Democrats and Biden screwed over rail workers because they're trying to do a strike recently. To do like a general strike and all, and of course, they want to stop that at all costs, even though it's based.
Biden is a big proponent of unions, as you know, sometimes known as Union Joe, but he's pushing here. He said he's reluctant to, but he's pushing here. He's worried about the effects on the broader economy. Has he let you and your members down?
More and more Democratic politicians are coming out against President Joe Biden's plan to force a contract onto unionized rail workers, including even a high-profile conservative Democrat has come out against Joe Biden's plan here. So we'll get to all of this. I'll get to who that is. I'll get to who these progressives are that are coming out against Joe Biden here and standing up for the workers. I will also get to a clip from one of the heads of one of the unions and his argument. And I'll also show you a series of clips from CNN showcasing how they are framing this whole story in a very pro-corporate light. But I'll get to that later. So first here on this agreement. So this ridiculous statement from the White House here from Joe Biden saying, I am calling on Congress to pass legislation immediately to adopt the tentative agreement between railroad workers and operators without any modifications or delay to avert a potentially crippling national rail shutdown. This agreement was approved by labor and management negotiators in September. It was not approved by labor. It was agreed upon by labor leaders that they would bring it to their members. It wasn't agreed upon by the unions. I don't know how he can just blatantly lie in a statement like this, but he's lying here.
I mean,
on the day that it was announced.
I mean, we expect all politicians lie, even Biden, of course, he's not immune from it.
Yep.
No surprise.
And even the squad lie as well.
Labor leaders, business leaders, and elected officials all hailed it as a fair resolution. Notice
supported this as well.
Who's missing here? How about the actual members in the union?
Acting like corporate Democrats again?
They are being completely ignored here. The fair resolution of the dispute between the hardworking men and women of the rail freight unions and the companies in that industry. All right, so Joe Biden went on to Twitter as well to go on to say, let me be clear, a rail shutdown would devastate our economy. Without freight rail, many U.S. industries would shut down. And whose fault would that be? The workers are asking for paid sick days. That's it. They want some paid sick days. Just a few.
And you know what? Instead, Biden, you need to force all the businesses in the railroad industry and force them to give in. That's what you should be actually doing if you're so pro-union as you claim to be.
And this incredibly profitable industry, I'll get to how profitable they are unwilling to do just the bare minimum here. Now, yes, they did. I think they increased pay. They say it's historic, 24% pay raise for rail workers. I'm sure that doesn't apply, across the board evenly, but whatever. Yes, there's a pay raise there, but paid sick days, again, we're talking bare minimum stuff here, things that are just already normalized in many other countries, but for Americans, they have to fight for the bare minimum on a consistent basis. So the membership of 4 out of the 12 rail unions, including the largest, have voted against the proposal, sending their leaders back to the bargaining table for a better deal. But top Democrats are planning to force the contract on them through legislation in order to head off a massive rail strike in early December that could hurt the economy.
Well, if you don't want the strike, here's a simple thing. Give in to their demands, and everything's good. Simple as that.
Exactly.
How about
give
fuck the
in to everything
industry?
they want.
They're greedy fucks that don't get shit. They get nothing.
Yep.
Simple. Give the workers the paid sick days, and shut up and deal with it.
Last thing here, before I get to
or else
clips and some more. So unions had originally asked...
Since you want to murder your workers so much...
Just maybe, we should maybe consider renationalizing the railroad industry?
Yes.
And you'll get no money out of that forever. So it's a choice. Give up some money to pay sick days, or nationalize you again. I mean, we've done it before. We can do it again. After all, we're the reason why you guys were built up in the first place. That's government funding that built the railroads across the country.
For 15 paid sick days. That's it. 15.
And remember, there's a lot of stuff we got to renationalize because just about everything is private now.
Healthcare,
even
education, industry,
demanding at least 4.
Energy sector.
A lot that needs to be renationalized for the good of the world.
So look at who is willing to negotiate down here.
Like,
they wanted 15 and now down to 4. Less than half of what they originally wanted. The railroad industry, which has raked in massive profits in recent years while driving workers into the ground, has refused to grant even a single paid sick day.
But
the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division, BMWED, one of the major rail unions that voted to reject the tentative contract deal, said in a statement Tuesday that it is deeply disappointed by and disagrees with Biden's decision to pressure Congress to impose the inadequate agreement on workers. And can they afford it? Well, rail companies have estimated that it would cost roughly $688 million a year to provide 15 days of paid sick leave, which, by the way, again, they aren't even asking for now. But if they were to do that, 15 days of paid sick leave to rail employees who work long and erratic hours and are often expected to be on call 24 hours a day. To make matters worse, rail companies' attendance policies punish workers for calling out sick or taking a day off to see the doctor. So $688 a year. Sounds like a lot. Well, one company alone, just one company, made a record $6 billion in profit last year, one rail company, and Bernie Sanders has quoted the figures to be at $20 billion in profit last year for the entire industry.
Yeah,
so
they can afford
$20 billion in profit, 15 paid sick days, if they were still asking for that, which they aren't,
as to why
$688.
We shouldn't be giving workers rights.
And also, it would actually be an economic boom as well. They would make more money in the long term. As their employees won't have to, since I'm sure a lot of railway workers probably leave and turnover because of how much stress and hard work that has to do involved in that. So your employees are taken care of better. They're more willing to stay. So you don't have to keep rehiring people, which costs a lot of money. So you'd make more money in the long run from doing this.
Less than half of this number now for a
regulation
industry that made $20 billion last year.
Yep.
Also, worth noting here, the data suggests that the money once spent on fully staffing locomotives is now spent on enriching shareholders through dividend payments and stock repurchases. So this from
I can just hear that.
Take a look at this graph here while I quote them. They say from 2001 to 2009, the 4 rail firms spent $17 billion on dividend payments and stock repurchases. In the 8 years after the inflection point, that amount increased by nearly 4.5 times.
I just heard that.
So, good. And
that last bit, it just came back.
And all that stuff
didn't come back very loud. I couldn't hear him properly, but I could hear him.
And all this shit right here needs to be banned.
Oh, they have more than enough to actually spend on their workers, and instead, it's going elsewhere.
And it's gone again as quickly as it arrived.
Now let's get to this clip. This is Michael Baldwin. He is the president of one of the major rail unions. Here is him making his case on CNN.
Final question, if I can. Biden is a big proponent of unions, as you know, sometimes known as Union Joe, but he's pushing here. He said he's reluctant to, but he's pushing here. He's worried about the effects on the broader economy. Has he let you and your members down?
Yes. Yes, to an extent, Jim. We're trying to address an issue here of sick time. It's very important, as we've already discussed, and this action prevents us from reaching the end of our process. It takes away the strength and the abilities that we have to force bargaining or force the railroads into a situation to actually do the right thing.
All right, so I'll get to some reactions here from politicians, Democratic politicians coming out against Joe Biden and standing with workers. I'll also get to, again, the supercut of CNN clips showcasing how they are framing this entire discussion. But first here, Union Joe. Yes, Union Joe. That was in the question from this CNN anchor that was posed to that union president there. A lot of the Union Joe is just completely made up out of thin air. Yes, there have been a few examples of things that Joe Biden has supported recently, like the PRO Act, but has not done enough to actually get it done. And sure, you can argue, but, Manchin, cinema, okay, whatever. You're president, maybe try a little harder.
Yeah, that's what we said about, like, the Build Back Better stuff, remember, last year.
Biden, I remember that. Let's say that about everything that's designed to help people in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Because the cruelty is the point.
Yes.
They love it and masturbate to it.
Yes, Republicans are also an issue. Yes, Manchin cinema are also an issue. But Biden can do more. He can scare them into falling in line like FDR and LBJ would do. He would threaten to kick them out, have them primaried out of office if they didn't fall in line. Biden needs to do stuff like that. Completely scare them into voting his way.
Maybe put some pressure on your members.
That's the thing. He doesn't do it because he's a cuck and a senile old man when he needs to show up.
Whatever.
Yes, he's got 1 foot
he
in the
has
grave.
Come out, to support the Amazon union fight when that was
brain.
big.
He doesn't have a brain anymore, and he's basically a zombie. Careful. A zombie that does good, being kept alive by the dark side of the Force, along with a lot of Republicans, including Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell, etc.
Careful, you might be called aidless for calling him a zombie, remember? Maybe he should be as useful as zombies in Minecraft and drop some rotten flesh when he dies.
But a lot of his moves,
occasionally, occasionally they can drop
in terms of actual
other things that are actually good, like potatoes,
workers,
or even
there's been very
weapons.
little of that.
Or even iron weapons or copper.
For him to be able to really take up the mantle of being Union Joe. So you can see there the president of that union is disappointed. Let me get to some reactions here. First, this is Jonah Furman, a fantastic labor reporter. He works for labornotes.org, so check him out. Fantastic work. Tweets out here, it is exceedingly rare in the U.S. for the White House to have direct control over union negotiations. This one was a layup. Put forward a bill to include paid sick days, cost the rail carriers a fraction of their insane profits, improves freight rail service, and Biden refuses. So when it comes down to it, it becomes very clear, if it isn't already clear, where Congress sits. They are with corporations.
Yep, and that's why
regardless of the situation, regardless of how it may even help the actual industry, to have these workers be able to take off sick days. They side with what business leaders want. So they side with them over forcing these sick days onto the companies.
How about
it's
you
very
tell
clear.
The rail industry
and
to
as
fuck
I'll get
off
to, when you
threaten
even have a
nationalization
conservative Democrat coming out against you,
one? Then they'll instantly cave on that
you've
one.
gone a little too far.
Yep. And don't forget
this was quote-tweeted by Marie Newman here, who unfortunately is leaving Congress. She lost her recent race, but says, agree, paid leave should be the bare minimum. Workers and passengers deserve safety and quality. Good Lord, this is the U.S., not a third world country. Paid leave has to be part of the deal, period.
Workers, so...
AOC here saying railroad workers grind themselves to the bone for this country as their labor produces billions for Wall Street. They demand the basic dignity of paid sick days. I stand with them. If Congress intervenes, it should be to have workers' backs and secure their demands in legislation. Bernie Sanders, of course, at the forefront of all of these labor fights, says the corporate greed never ends. Last year, the rail industry made a record-breaking $20 billion in profits after cutting their workforce by 30% over the last 6 years. Meanwhile, rail workers have zero guaranteed paid sick days. Congress must stand with rail workers. Jamal Bowman also coming out in support of the workers here, saying, listen, I can't in good conscience vote for a bill that doesn't give rail workers the paid leave they deserve. We fumbled this and Build Back Better. We can't do that again. Corey Bush says every worker deserves paid sick leave. I will not support a deal that does not provide our rail workers with the paid sick leave they need and deserve. Rashida Tlaib saying last year the rail industry made a record-breaking $20 billion in profits. They can afford to give their workers paid sick leave. The rail industry must put the quality of life of their employees over profits. I stand with rail workers. Last one here. Burgess Everett, who is a reporter for Politico here. Hickenlooper. Democratic Senator Hickenlooper. Conservative Hickenlooper says of averting rail strike, any bill should include the 7 days of sick leave rail workers have asked for. So to actually update the Bernie Sanders tweet, he's planning to put an amendment to this bill to include, I think he said 5 to 7 sick days. So
Bernie
and he will not support the bill unless those sick days are in there.
That's good.
And Hickenlooper. Now look, right now this is talk. It's all talk. We will see when it comes down to it what he supports, how he votes, but to have Hickenlooper come out against Biden and for the workers is kind of shocking. And I have to imagine there has to be some labor leaders or workers in his ear somewhere. Something is pushing him here in the right direction, because otherwise you would not normally see Hickenlooper on a very progressive side of this issue. And by the way, I shouldn't even say progressive side, just common sense side. People need sick days. Common sense. So it's not,
it's better for people and better for workers, which makes the economy better. If people are sick, they need time off to take care of it. And their family, too, if family members are sick. Like, that's not unreasonable.
Left, right, center, it's just common sense. Last thing here. CNN Supercut. So this is, I think, put together by Steve Morris. He works for the Recount, who often put up these sorts of clips. So here is a minute showcasing how CNN is largely framing this discussion.
A rail strike is one of the most disruptive and expensive things that can happen to an economy.
A rail shutdown or strike would disrupt supply chains.
A strike means food prices could skyrocket.
Many experts are saying would be an economic catastrophe.
That could mean a big shortage and massive price hikes. Even gas prices could increase.
And it also could cost the economy $1 billion within the first week.
That would cripple the economy.
I'm not setting aside the concerns of your members, but are you and your members willing to stop the rails, in effect, and accept those costs to the U.S. economy?
Do you believe a strike is worth it if it cripples the U.S. economy and costs up to $2 billion a day?
More than $2 billion per day.
Is it worth it?
And on top of all of that, the holidays are right around the corner.
It's a little less than a month right before Christmas here.
Especially right before the holidays.
President Biden warning, if that happened, it would devastate the economy if we had a strike like that.
Then tell the railroad industry to give them paid sick days, or we're going to nationalize them. Then they'll fall in line and do it.
So joining me now to talk about this and a lot more
you have to scare these corporations to fall in line. That's how you do shit.
Bank of America.
Don't give in to
Brian
their demands
Moynihan,
ever.
Chairman and CEO, one of the biggest banks in the world.
That last one just cracks me up. Here to talk about this is Bank of America's CEO. I wonder who he sides with. So ridiculous. Look, it's fine to mention the impact on the economy that a strike would pose if you are going to properly frame the discussion around whose fault that is.
It's the railroad industry.
Business leaders that are incredibly wealthy, people like Warren Buffett, that owns one of these rail companies, $6 billion in profit in his company alone last year, and is unwilling to offer paid sick days. That's their problem, not the problem of the workers. That isn't their fault. They're fighting for the bare minimum here. Again, and every single host here, of course, has paid sick days, gets time off, makes a lot more money than any of these rail workers do. Yeah, but this is why they call it corporate media. In case you're wondering why they call it corporate media, this is why. They are a corporation, and they side with corporations in all of their discussions. It's the way that every discussion is framed. So yes, they even had on that rail, that union president there that I showed you earlier. Yes, he was on the show. And the questions posed to him refrained from a corporate perspective. Every single one. But that's what they do. So it's going to be wild to see what happens here. This is getting down to the wire. Will this go through? What's going to happen? Are there going to be enough Democrats that are going to be against this? We're going to have to wait and see.
I just tried to look it up earlier. I'm not sure if it passed anything or not, so I have no idea yet. So yeah, what do you have to say about this?
It's pretty terrible. Come on, man. Bend Manchin and Cinema over and force them to concede and force the railroad to give the workers what we want.
Yeah, and fuck you, Biden, for not falling in line. Yep. Guess what? You're
and
still a piece of shit.
And fuck you, squad minus Rashida Tlaib for supporting murdering workers.
Careful, Bosch will be very angry at you, remember?
Good, he can go fuck himself. Fucking... He's a fuck... He pretends to be a socialist, but he's a neoliberal. So he can go fuck him, so he can fuck off with the other CIA agent, Jimmy Dore.
He would be so triggered. Alright, so now, on to the last topic that we just discovered today, and this is not even really necessarily political. I find it both funny and cringy, though, and that is...
Communism 2 OP and Vicky 3!
Alright, so as you all know, Victoria 3 is the sequel for Vicky 2. I played it. I put over 150 hours into it, because I played the leak when it got released in April, and I find the game incredibly boring and all that. They ruined the warfare by not letting you micro troops around, which is the funnest thing too. So yeah, it's a boring game, and apparently people have been crying about communism being too overpowered in the game. Now, of course, I never been able to implement that because the reforms required to do so are very, very, very difficult to do. So I have never even tried that. So, no idea how overpowered it is. I doubt it's as OP as Cap, Laissez-Faire, and Vicky 2 is if you get everything set up right. Because guess what? If this... Because I'm sure David Dole is going to do this video about, like, people are crying about, like, communism being overpowered because communism bad. I wonder what he had to say about Vicky 2 because capitalism is the best economic policy in that game. And trust me, I know it is OP as hell when you get the laissez-faire and everything goes right. So, let's watch this video, and I'm going to cringe at how bad Dole is going to cover it. Oh, it's going to be pain.
Communism is too powerful. I'm not saying that, but there is a game that is saying that. So, this is about the game Victoria 3. This is a socio-political strategy game.
It's grand strategy, Dave. Get it right.
That essentially simulates reality when it comes to politics and how it impacts society.
Not quite. It's a grand strategy game from 1836 to 1935, so it's the 19th and early 20th century before World War II. Like, come on, Dave. Like 20 seconds in, you're already kind of wrong on like two pretty big things.
And different ways of approaching things. Well, apparently the best way to play Victoria 3 is to be a communist. So
now I'm going to be upfront too. The game, honestly, from what I've seen, I think they're doing some updates on it. unlike, like I said, in Victoria 2, where you can do capitalism, and it's very OP if you've done correctly, free so far, there really is no, like laissez-faire capitalism. You still control, like, shutting down, like, factories, opening up and subsidizing them, all that. So it's kind of like a regulated capitalism instead of hardcore laissez-faire capitalism like in Vicky 2, where if you have laissez-faire, you can't do anything. You can't build factories, shut them down, fund them, subsidize them, anything. That's all the capitalists keeping the factories running. And that's why it's so OP in that game, because it's so efficient, and it's one part of the game you don't have to ever worry about again. Just let it be an autopilot. But here you have to micromanage everything in the economy, even if you did get actual capitalism in the game. That's something I heard that they might be working on in the future.
I'm gonna get to these details. There's gamers, some gamers complaining about this, but I'll also get to a comment from the developer and why he is claiming this is the way it is. But first here, this story broken by Kotaku here. Victoria 3 players think communism is too overpowered. Apparently giving workers more disposable income is a winning strategy in Paradox's economic simulation game. So before I get to more details here, the game is apparently very deep, very complex. I have never played a Victoria game. I have.
Some of us would say it's not as complex as, say, Vicky 2, so I don't know about that one.
Played other simulation style games, a lot more basic ones, but this apparently is like a lot of spreadsheets involved. To go back to this though, you can see, you could put different. I assume by looking at this and by the review I watched on this game, you could put different emphasis on, say, nationalism, egalitarianism, labor movement, anarchism.
That's a tech tree. It's to research things. Like, come on, man. It's not emphasizing them like a policy. It's researching them to unlock the things that they unlock when you get them. Like, come on, man. Just like in Vicky 2, when you research things, you unlock anarcho-liberalism, socialism, communism, fascist. Like, come on, like, we're so early in the video, and I'm already cringe about how little you understand this game.
So all different approaches here, and you can see how it plays out in your little world here. And across,
I literally cannot see how he looks at the map and doesn't realize, hey, wait a minute, this looks like 1836. Like, come on.
Across societies. So yeah, I'll link to this below the video if you want to check out more in the game. There's also, if you look up Victoria 3 review, you'll see many of those reviews on YouTube as well. But let's get to why this is so powerful, or what is happening here. So Victoria 3 is a political simulation game that plays like accounting software, and currently apparently the game's numbers agree with the so-called radical left that communism is the most economically efficient government system. Victoria 3 players have taken to the internet to complain that there aren't any other ways of playing that are better than Marxism. Victoria 3...
Hey, just like in Vicky 2, capitalism all the way. Trust me, I've had industry scores as America, Russia, Germany, where I got over 10,000 industry points, which is like some of the highest I've ever seen by straight-up capitalism.
It's just a simulation game, but it kind of makes me wonder if overpowered communism has any basis in real life or not. So going on...
I'm starting to get the feeling that he's probably like complaining about, like trying to make it like political, when the people complaining are more likely to complain about it's just too strong. Like, people always complain about that. Like, there are people that complain about certain countries being too strong. Super Germany in Vicky 2, where you can unite Prussia and Austria into one Germany. That's OP.
Damn!
Which I just did a game with Gavin recently. First time I ever formed Super Germany as Prussia. Very proud of myself doing that single-handedly. China's considered OP if China unites, so much so that a lot of mods on purpose in Vicky 2, if China unites, they on purpose force them to go into a civil war to break them up so they don't become too powerful. Russia's very powerful. America is very, very dangerous late game if it gets a lot of population. Japan is very strong. Like, that's what people are complaining about. People basically want the game to be able to do economic policies like capitalism too, and be just as good as communism apparently is in this game, which I have yet to see. And of course, especially since capitalism really isn't done like Vicky 2, where it's complete laissez-faire.
On here they write, one Redditor summarized their take with the title, "Current communist meta is overpowered. Capitalist playstyles they suggest are too inefficient. The bosses at the top of Victoria 3 capitalist societies get high pay, while workers get very low pay. But in a Victoria 3 communist economy, worker cooperatives ensure that all capitalist wealth is turned over to the workers. As a
I mean, that is realistic, too. That's why capitalism, in a lot of ways, sucks.
result, their high purchasing power allows them to spend more money in the economy, which increase.
But yeah, that's basically the premise of Vicky 2 and Vicky 3. In Vicky 2, for example, when capitalists or you build factories, you hire craftsmen and clerks. They make the goods, then the factory sells them, and they use the profits to pay off the clerks and the craftsmen, and they use that money to buy those goods back to fulfill their needs and make their lives better. That's basically how the economy goes. Same goes here in free as well. And it's done every single damn day.
Increases economic demand. Yep. This leads to higher living standards, which attracts more immigration. Another big boost.
Yeah, that's the thing too in Vicky 3, unlike really in 2, because in Vicky 2, immigration's set to pretty much just the new world and that's it. But in 3, if you have high standard of living, you actually can get people immigrate to your country. And trust me, I've played... Hell, one game I did is Afghanistan. I made Afghanistan the #1 economic power in the world at the end of 1935, for crying out loud. And I had so many immigrants coming in. Freaking Afghanistan being the #1 economy in the world in a landslide. We gotta see about that.
Oh, wow, that's surprising.
Quote, it's just so easy, the player concludes. Now, I will get to a fair criticism of what is happening in the game here, because there is a fair criticism here to mention. But look, this is, I don't know, maybe something worth attempting. Maybe putting more wealth into the hands of the workers, the ones that are actually generating the capital for capital owners. Maybe that's a better way to go about things. Worker cooperatives.
In real life, but in the game, people want to be more balanced, way, at least so
especially when it comes to mass production. I would imagine.
Like I said, I have no idea how strong communism is in Vicky 3 since I haven't done it, but I'm telling you, in Vicky 2, capitalism is OP. Autopilot, and you just get your industry just skyrockets on its own without you having to do a single thing. And I know firsthand experience.
Is a much more efficient and effective way, not only for the individuals that are within the worker co-op, but for society generally to have that sort of power in the hands of workers. I just think it's a purely positive thing. But let me first get to before I get to more here, the developers' reaction to this. So this is game designer Mikael Anderson of Paradox saying here, quote, "We did not plan for these effects to work out in this way," said Anderson. "Rather, we just implemented the mechanics the way we understood them, and this is the result. Chances are good some of these effects could be balanced a bit better, which is something we will work on going forward, but the core dynamics won't change. Instituting a distribution of wealth that encourages a demand-driven economy is one perfectly valid way of playing Victoria 3. One other thing to keep in mind is that while Victoria 3 is an ambitious simulation, it is not a complete simulation. There are currently no distinct mechanics modeling corruption or cronyism, foreign economic influence beyond trade, or direct interference in another nation's politics, all of which could help make the 19th century communism seem a bit less appealing than it does in the current meta. Perhaps that is something
which I'm sure will change, because the game just came out not even 2 months ago. And dude, they still do DLC for EU4. That came out almost 10 years ago, for God's sake. They're gonna milk DLC to death for this game and change it dramatically to the point where in a few years people are gonna say Vanilla Vicky 3 is unplayable.
We'll see more of in the future. So 2 points worth mentioning here. They didn't purposely make communism super strong. That's just the way it is. Because of how it would be implemented in a perfect society, in a perfect world. I'm mentioning that because it is worth bringing up here that it isn't easy to put power in the hands of workers. And that is because of what is not in this game. Corruption, cronyism, influence for...
There is revolts if you do policies the people in power don't like, which actually happened in my Brunei game I've been doing on Vicky 3, where... for a few decades, I was in a position where I was on the verge of facing an actual civil war if I tried to ban and allow slavery. If I tried to ban slavery, I would face revolt. If I did not ban slavery, I would face revolt. So I had to keep every few, half a minute or so, implement ban slavery, turn off slavery bans, back and forth for 20 years, because that's how bad it was.
Foreign economic influence beyond trade, interference in another nation's politics. These are all reasons why we have not seen more power put into the hands of workers and less power or power taken away from those at the top of society. This is a fair complaint, And that said, though, again, if you are able to implement the system without any sort of interference from either people at the top of society or other countries, then it does appear that in this world, in a perfect simulation, that it would in fact be the best way to go about structuring a society. Bit more here. So some players suggested that one reason such in-game tactics are so effective is that developments like worker cooperatives and multiculturalism are unrealistically easy to implement, which I think is a fair criticism, as I just mentioned. They weren't opposed to these phenomena being overpowered, but thought that it was unrealistic to achieve them with one click of a button. I think that is fair. Last thing here. So this is so funny. So because people some people are bothered by this, some modders are actually taking things into their own hands. There are Victoria 3 mods on Steam that will improve the viability of ethno-state playstyles or give strategic depth to subsistence farming. This is all incredibly funny to me because not all economic systems are equally productive in real life.
But it's a game, though. You want to try and keep it balanced so any economic model could be just as good. Just like how I said over and over again, capitalism in Vicky 2 is OP. It really, really, really is OP. Just like how supposedly communism in Vicky 3 is, which I still don't believe until I try it out for myself.
There's simply no way to make subsistence farming somehow more productive than capitalism or even feudalism.
Vicky 2 laissez-faire would beg to differ on that one because it is better.
If capitalists didn't have to pay to house workers in one place or pay for immigration visas, then they wouldn't. But they do these things because it's more profitable to run companies a certain way. So I just want to give a shout out here to the writer of this piece. That is CC Zhang. So very good to see a game like this that is willing to really dive into the realities around these different systems and see how they interact with each other, see what is the best way to go about things. Again, I think based on the way they've implemented and according to all reviews, this is a very well-reviewed game. It's
not actually. It's mixed reviews when it came out. I hate to break the news to you, Dole, but it's mixed. Even I Sorrow Productions gave the game like a 6 out of 10 because he scathed it so hard. Just no.
In depth, it is very accurate to real life, minus the lack of cronyism, the lack of foreign interference or influence, which of course would play into, as I said, not making it so easy to have a capitalist or a communist society.
And I don't know if it would be accurate. After all, like I said, I made Afghanistan the #1 economic power in the world when I last played them. I don't think most people would think that's realistic.
But check this game out. If you're into these style of games, again, it is, very stat heavy, very data driven, spreadsheety. If you're super into this kind of,
I would strongly recommend anyone watch this. If you want to play something like this, skip Vicky 3, go straight to Vicky 2. Now that is fun. Alright, so I think that wraps up the video here. So what do you have to say about that one?
Hilarious, but also cringe at our completely unknown Mike was, but kinda understandable.
Yeah,
at least try a little bit more research next time.
Yep. Now I'm really curious. Maybe I'll try and do a communist economy in this game and see how OP it is, because I have yet to try it out myself, but it's just not as simple as just changing political parties in Vicky 2, which you can just do like that. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this episode here. So see you guys next time for episode 65.